everybody.
What's going on?
What's going on, everybody?
So welcome to Dray, to CityLoveSpeaks. I am Dray in the city. My co-hosts today are Darius.
What's up?
Mooring from the Working It Out with Darius show, and Dwayne A. Townsend.
All right.
Dwayne A. Townsend. And the lovely and amazing Katara from Las Vegas, Nevada. So this month, our whole focus is going to be on phenomenal Black women that people miss, that they don't really talk about, or are just kind of in the cuts. And we they make these accomplishments, but they're not celebrated how the Karens are celebrated for showing out. So what we want to do is do that. But start the show off first. Want to say a huge happy birthday to President Barack Obama. We miss you so very, very much on a regular basis.
So miss him.
Oh my God.
Okay, first of all, get into this gray suit and this gray hair, y'all.
And this Apple Watch.
Point.
But get into this Apple Watch. Get into it.
Get into it. Just classic.
Classic. Just cool. Just he was a cat daddy. Was not mad at that at all. And
Right.
over the weekend, the legendary James Baldwin also was his birthday as well. Jay Baldwin is, I mean, there's just so much to say about James Baldwin in the sense of activist rights for gays, blacks.
So I don't know.
Women.
Have you ever read Giovanni's Room?
Yes. One of my favorites.
That was my first piece of literature of work his that I read, and it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
This story was amazing. Yeah, so
everything.
His essays as well. So yeah, I'm huge.
Yeah. I think my favorite piece of his in general is "I'm Not Your Negro" is probably my ultimate favorite. In the sense of the coming of the age of African Americans having an articulate way to express themselves outside of the Harlem Renaissance before hip hop. It's just an amazing and a phenomenal way he has with words and all together. Right. So from here we are going to go into our segment that is helpful for everybody, our mental health check-in with Darius Mooring. Darius, take it away.
Hello. So on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, I do a show called Working It Out with Darius. And on yesterday, I was joined with guest Damian Michael. We recapped a little bit of last week. We talked about understanding mental health. We talked about the difference between experiencing anxiety because of a situation versus experiencing anxiety through any situation, regardless of the situation. We talked about that, talked about a crisis management plan. He talked about gratitude and how he maintains gratitude. And then we're joined by Veronica Moore, who is the houseplant therapist. Her Instagram is Brown Scan Plant Mama. And she talked about how plants have just completely changed her life and her course of her passion. And so it's been really, really great. There's a lot of great things going on. I'm going to post it again tomorrow in case you missed it. And we're going to be back this coming Monday, and we're going to be talking about comedy therapy. So we're going to have some comedians talking about their therapeutic process as they work through their art as well. So I'm excited about it. Very, very excited.
Yes. Work.
So in this mental health check-in, how's everybody doing?
Yes.
How are y'all?
Well, I'm spinning out of control. I don't know what to do with my life anymore. I'm just confused, bedeviled, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm doing great. I'm doing great over here. I don't know. Katara, how are you feeling?
Fine.
Really?
But you know what? She's fine. But she woke up this morning. Something that someone woke up this morning. Hello, somebody.
Started on the way.
Come on.
I'm a little below average. I haven't had a day off since Memorial Day.
Oh crap.
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah.
I understand.
Moving. Haven't had a day.
So what's interesting is seeing Katera this week versus having her last, because last week, you were on fire.
Flames.
I mean, you had us last week. Yes, I don't know if you realized that or not. Did you know that, Katera? Like last week, you were. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know what was on last week.
You let the kids have it last week. We weren't mad.
I loved it.
Honestly,
I was stunned and bamboozled.
I'm a Meg the Stallion fan.
You were now?
I'm a Meg the Stallion fan.
Come on!
Right. True.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Yes, you are, ma'am.
Gotcha.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Dray, how about you? How are you doing? Check in with us. What's going on?
I'm like,
okay.
if I can stay out of Target, if I can stay out of Target and not spend $100, I'd be better. Every time I go. Like every time I go. And I go with a list and everything and still come out spending $100. It never fails.
I feel you on that because every time I go into Target, it's like the one section that's like the home goods section. I go in there's like, oh, I can get this, I can get that, I get that. Oh, and then leaving out of there $1,000 in debt. Like really, Dwayne?
And you're like, I'm going. I don't understand. And now how they have the store set up is Target act like these kids is really going back to school. So you're walking through. I'm like, and here I'm like, I was like, a microfiber bath towel for $5? I'm gonna need $8 because they're $22 normally. I was like, it's $5.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, throw rugs for $15. What?
Hello.
I went a little like, and it was really sad because I get to the register and the woman goes, "Oh, you're such a good dad," and I'm like, "All this shit
all
for me."
You. It's all for you.
I'm like, my kid's grown. This for me.
It's like, I have no kids going back to school. It's just me.
Dre, what you experience is what people call retail therapy. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of describes that you might have been in.
Well, see, but Katera understands my retail therapy is serious. Like that's just I have a problem with Target. My retail therapy
hours in Sprouts.
Yeah. Like the grocery store is my retail therapy. Like I can go to the grocery store with the Pinterest app and go and spend 3 hours in a grocery store very easily. That is my therapy. And then I get back and then I can cook.
Mm-hmm. So
that's my therapy.
For you.
So we have.
Hey,
in case your retail therapy gets out of hand.
I prescribe to NAMI.org. I love them. They're a really great organization to reach out to.
Absolutely.
And as Donovan Bryce said, Sprouts is my life during my day off. I agree, Donovan. We should go together.
But the store isn't big enough to spend 3 hours there.
It really is.
Okay.
It really, really is.
Katera, now, Katera, your questions, how we're going to have questions now, because this is going to be a never-ending thing. So I agree with you. I'm like, what are you doing for 3 hours?
Well, I've been with him and we go to the cheese aisle, get some cheeses, get some wine, peruse the produce.
Test it out.
Then you got the hallway. Then you have the butcher as well as the
baker and the candlestick maker.
That's all I'm saying. And then you go over to the other side where you have to read because you will pick up vegan items that you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
So you will spend a bunch of time in Sprouts because they don't have a vegan section. They have vegan mixed in with regular stuff. So you gotta read. Otherwise, you're gonna come home with a non-gluten-free pasta, and your macaroni and cheese gonna be wrong. I'm just saying. And ain't nothing worse than macaroni and cheese being wrong. Ain't nothing
That's
worse.
true.
No,
That's true.
We're not
Macaroni and cheese and cornbread are the two things that you are not allowed to mess up in a black home.
You just can't mess those two things up because it like you can't.
And Sprouts will send you wrong. Sprouts will have you making cornbread with almond milk, thinking it's regular milk. I'm just saying. Because the containers are the same. It's like, so you got to pay attention. Like when you're there.
So it's even like the vegan meat is mixed in like the regular meat. So you have like vegan pepperoni and regular pepperoni.
No.
And when all your guests are like, "What is this? This is not meat."
Fire.
See, now I'm about to step in and say, y'all, no, the vegan stuff actually it's come a long way.
It has. It definitely has.
What you not gonna do today is disrespect the pig.
No, what we not gonna do today is disrespect. No, we not gonna disrespect the vegans.
Pepperoni, salami, bacon. I'm sorry. Now, veganism
matters me. Don't all meat matters me. Do not.
I'm just saying, veganism to me is like Christianity. You can choose it, or you don't have to. And I choose not. I choose not. Because bacon has been the best relationship I've ever been in my whole life. It keeps on doing great things for me. Yes, it does. I'm just saying. Bacon is everything. I'm just saying.
So rude. Disrespectful. I can't.
Overhyped.
But it's so good.
If I can get bacon where it's more bacon than chunks of fat, then sure. But you get 3 random spots of meat and a hunk of fat and call it delicious. And I just want more meat with my bacon.
I'm not gonna lie, I like the fat. I eat
I eat around the fat.
See, Katara, I made a dish 2 days ago for Sunday dinner. I made a pork belly pasta with a bechamel sauce. It was everything.
Wait,
it was so good.
So apparently Donovan wants to cook dinner for us at some point in time.
Hey, Donovan.
Sounds good.
I'm just saying, Donovan, do know that Katara is a foodie, and she is worse than the British critics. So just know up front, she'll shut it down for you.
Just like your pork loin tastes ridiculous. It tastes disgusting. Thank you. She's like that.
Is that gravy or is that just grace? So moving on, on our coronavirus update, coronavirus is spreading even larger throughout the United States, and Herman Cain has passed away 19 days after attending the Trump rally. Oh, Herman Cain.
No.
Oh, Herman Cain.
I can't.
Like, I want to feel a way about it, but I'm not. He wore no mask.
No, but if we backtrack to his rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that rally had a 100% infection rate. That means every single person who went to that rally got coronavirus.
Right.
Just some of these things is just called God's will, perfect timing. The alignment.
You know what?
Whatever you believe, like some of these things are just meant to happen. And Herman Cain to bash COVID and say it's not real, and then turn around and die from COVID, and that's what we call quick acting karma.
See what's interesting about that is, I think about back when HIV was like running rampant, and how everybody literally was saying that this is God's will and this is God's that and the other. And of course, it was mostly Republicans, right? So then,
of course,
here you go. Now here we are in the same situation, like very similar. Where we have a virus we don't know anything about it, blah blah blah. And then you're literally not going to wear a mask, like literally out in public. And then
one thing people can agree on is wear the mask. Like we don't know what, but we know
wear the damn mask. Just wear the damn mask.
It's like, well, my cousin that barely graduated high school told me that if I wear a mask, then my oxygen levels deplete and I can die. So I'm not gonna wear one.
Protect and respect. Protect and respect your neighbors, yourself, your family, your friends. Wear the damn mask. A CityLoveSpeaks. We're mask wearers.
Cool with that are protesting the mask. Like, I hope y'all. No, I don't hope you get sick. But I want someone to really I want you to have a camera number where someone just records you and embarrasses you, so you can see how stupid you look fighting the government by not wearing a mask.
It's just
Probably doesn't care if you like Trump.
Well, that part. Or Gina is leading these girls down the wrong path to die.
It doesn't say.
And all just for him to feel good about himself for 2 hours. That's the crazy part. For 2 hours,
bananas.
They have gathered together to die. Like, I'm just saying, to make him feel good. That's what they've done. When you really think about it, they have gathered together so that they can die.
Yeah.
This is Waco all over again. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, that you hit it right on the nose, right there.
Go ahead.
It's crazy. It's crazy because you know what? Here's the thing. The mask is okay. All you have to do is just wear a simple mask over your face to protect you, to protect your family, to protect all your friends, to protect everyone around you from your germs, the spread of the virus, all of that. And for you to challenge the government and the medical officials, hey, I don't want to wear a mask. The science is there. The science is there. Dude, it will save you and everyone else around you. Just wear the mask. But you know what? Karma's a bitch, and she's out there. She's like, okay, so you not go. Got you. I got something for you.
Well, even what I'm going to say. So part of the larger issue is even the health officials, health commissioners for states, like the New York City health commissioner, she resigned just because de Blasio's administration was not really following to the letter how to protect all of the citizens. And she was like, she just can't take it anymore. She was like, and her being a woman of color, it made it even more an act of love for her in the sense of making sure that New Yorkers had all of the information that they needed, that we were very incorporated in the fact of not just wearing a mask, but wearing a mask, getting tested, making sure that you got tested properly. Because she even went with the improper tests, where there were people that were coming back with false positives because they were self-swabbing instead of actually where it's just not possible for you to swab yourself correctly by yourself.
Don't they make you swab yourself in New York? Because we don't.
Well, they stopped that now because people were coming back false positive that were actually having coronavirus. And so that was where the larger dilemma was happening. So, so antibody tests I've had the test. It's uncomfortable, but it's not as bad. I feel. Well, yeah, because you get swabbed every week, right?
I get swabbed every 3 weeks, or every time I come in direct contact with someone that has it.
Wow.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so
it's still alive. It's not that bad.
Get swabbed. I feel like we're back in, as you said, the HIV virus is get tested.
Right.
Know your status. I feel like that's what we are getting. Get tested, know your status. And so we advise everyone to get tested. Please go to the CDC.org, find out where your testing site is in your city. If you are in Las Vegas, you can come say hi to Katera at Dubin Wellness, and you go to DubinWellness.com and sign up and register to get your testing for coronavirus and your antibodies testing. Protect and respect.
For free.
And for free. Testing is free. So, I'm going to kick it off to Katara. Katara, so you're going to kick off our very first African American phenomenal woman.
Oh, I mean, it combines everything I like: Black excellence, food. She's a chef. She's a Michelin star-rated chef. Like, what more do you need? Like, it's everything I want in a picture. Where's her restaurant located?
Mariam Russell. She is the first African American woman to win a Michelin star.
But where's her restaurant located?
Chicago, Illinois.
Come on, Chicago. I'm going to Chicago at the end of the month.
Oh,
so I'll check her out.
You sure? They have hotspot.
Oh, are they?
You
They have Corona hotspot. Yes, they are.
All right, so I will make sure I make some adjustments.
Okay.
So congratulations, Miriam.
The first Black headlines happening in 2020, like the first Black woman to get a Michelin star. How long has this Michelin rating system been around? Like,
oh my God.
It's like it's Michelin, still happening.
Michelin ratings have been around since 1824.
And you telling me that they want one Black person since
224
Black
years.
woman. Black woman. There's never been a Black woman. There have been several Black men that have gotten Michelin stars.
And you telling me
the first.
The first
one Black
African American woman. Yes, she's the first ever.
And that don't sound suspicious to anybody?
Well, I'm gonna say it's not about that it's suspicious. It's more about the fact that when you think about culinary life in general, it's a very male-dominated profession when it comes to professional cooking. And it's a very LGBTQIA profession when you think about professional cooking as well. Most of the top chefs are homosexual or bisexual or transgender. So Black women being the last one to well, this just kind of goes with the rest of history. They've been the last to get everything. So,
but also, like chefs, that cook their food isn't seasoned that well to me, and I feel like they think everything's over seasoned when it's just called salt.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Well, I mean, I'm gonna say I agree.
Very refined palate. They have a very sensitive palate, so everything's over seasoned to them. So the average Black person's cooking would be way, way, way over salted when it's just called seasoning. It's just good. And
so
I think
so speaking of phenomenal Black women, we are still in the fight for Breonna Taylor. Thank you, O Magazine, for Oprah taking herself off of her cover to give Breonna Taylor a platform for us to actually get justice, because her life does matter. Breonna Taylor was an essential worker, as well as a daughter, a sister. She was a girlfriend, and Louisville has really just dropped the ball altogether with this entire investigation from beginning to end.
And in her home when they bombarded the wrong home, and she was alive for at least 6 minutes after they shot her, and they rendered her no medical attention. She could have survived. They did nothing to help her. Like, the more details that come out, like, it just is more preposterous that they're still out walking free when they see just how badly this was butchered from beginning to end. Because how do you have a warrant for someone that's already in custody?
Well, even the investigator, I feel, needs to be penalized and charged, because the investigator first sent her mother to the hospital when she was still in the actual building. And the only reason the mother got through back, and she came back to the actual location where they still have Breonna's body, and the mother asked her, "Are you sure it's Breonna?" Because Breonna's sister also lived with her, even though Breonna's sister at the time was at the mother's house. This is how the mother had to connive her way in to find out exactly what happened to her daughter when she was given the complete runaround. And then all of the paperwork that came from the investigator, even the investigator's questions to the actual police that were there. He was coaching them in how to respond during the process.
Oh,
it's just obstruction of the law all the way around.
It's like 3 words. If you see the actual report they gave, it's 3 or 4 words long. There's no details, nothing.
Yeah,
they're responsible. So it's not because it's not a misjustice. It's a misjustice is when you don't plan for this to happen. This is exactly what they wanted. They never planned on punishing these police officers.
Right.
They just didn't plan on people to keep bringing it up like, oh, and short memory span, they'll get over this. Like, no.
And then to come to find out, this was bigger than just that investigation, because there had been 8 other incidents exactly the same in Louisville within the last 14 months. So, like, this is where I'm at where is Mitch McConnell? I understand that Mitch McConnell was fighting, somewhere else, but I'm going, this is your state, this is your home state. This is reason to get unseated, in the sense of you have dropped the ball on your home state with this investigation. 100%. Like, at this point, federal prosecutors should have come in and taken over at this point, because it's gone on way too long.
He's losing that seat.
Say that again, Katara, you're breaking up.
He wasn't scared before. He should be, because he's losing that seat.
Oh, well, I agree. Well, right now, he's not losing the seat, because his Democratic competitor, she really just doesn't have the funding. And so she's really fighting in the sense of, later on in the show, I'll talk a little bit more about exactly like what is happening in Louisville and what's happening with us in the United States, in the state of America. But want to continue on with our phenomenal Black women. This weekend on Thursday at 3 a.m. in the morning, Beyonce Knowles Carter released Black is King. So what were you guys' thought process on it? We're going to break this down, Black is King, in our after show. But right now, if you had to review this in 10 words or less, what would you say, Katara?
I love the visuals. I don't really care for musicals. Like, I don't like random singing. My favorite song was actually the one that she wasn't in. It was the African guy that was like rapping like the snake.
Yes.
That was my favorite song, and then the one that was her and Jay-Z, but there was like a little boy like rapping Jay-Z's part. I don't know any of the songs. I like that song track. I really like the visual. I think it was super pretty. It was kind of long. I feel like it was longer than the actual Lion King, but I enjoyed it.
So, Dwayne, are you a Beyonce stan?
I'm a crazy Beyonce. Like, I like her. I think she's talented, but I'm not like, oh, she's a god. But
right.
Like, I'm not gonna worship her, but she always, like, all of her visual albums are always beautiful, and this was like no different. Like, it was a very beautiful put together album. Like, everything looked great. I think it showcased Africa really beautiful. But yeah,
because we have some visuals. So we have some amazing visuals from the Black is King up here. Our backstage manager tonight, Darius. Can we go to our other visuals? Can we go to our other visuals of Black is King? Yeah, so we can talk about it.
I was in all the world.
So the amazing Naomi Campbell, that was featured in Brown Skin Girl, along with, I always say her name wrong, Ujwa, which is like Naomi's daughter. Like, Naomi has like kind of adopted her as her daughter. In fashion, she is the next hot Black girl to hit Fashion Weeks through in the UK, Africa, and in the US, which was amazing. But like the next visual, I think is probably my favorite visual in there, which was the chess scene, which I thought was kind of amazing to see an African inspired chess set of humans. That was kind of phenomenal. So Dwayne, I think you're a Beyonce stan. That's what my spirit is saying. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a stan. He's a stan. There's always one. There's always one.
So I am not. Okay. Let me preface this first. I love Destiny's Child. I love the three of them together.
Destiny's Child.
Destiny's Child.
Because it should have always been that three because they only have 3-part harmony. Oop, did I say that out loud?
Yes, you did. But I love Destiny's Child. I love Michelle, Kelly, and Beyonce together. When they did their separate albums, I was just like, oh, I really like you guys together doing pop songs. Beyonce.
I said Michelle had an album?
Michelle had 3 albums.
She has 3 albums.
3.
Yeah. Her first album I loved her first album.
Yeah, her first album was really good.
Yeah, the second 2, I was just like, okay, Michelle.
Yeah.
Kelly is great over in the UK. She's like
and Kelly has a new album out right now.
Oh no,
yeah.
I love Kelly.
Kelly's album was released in March. Like, yeah.
Kelly is amazing.
Kelly is fantastic. Like, I was a little disappointed. I was a little disappointed in her the initial video for her first album of the new album. Yes, only because I don't understand why she was running around like half naked on a horse talking about getting some in the morning. I didn't understand the Cosby song. I didn't understand it.
I didn't understand it either.
And so I was a little thrown with the visuals that went along with the song.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I kind of thought the song was going to be more, like, the visuals were going to be, when I heard the song, I was expecting the visuals to be like,
nothing but brown people.
Well, her waking up with her husband. And, like, because the whole song is very about waking up and fixing your man breakfast.
Right, like Jill Scott, like a Jill Scott kind of vibe or something like that.
Right,
Yeah.
This morning, some grits, grab a pair of keys. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was that. What'd you say?
I think it's safe to say that we like Kelly Rowland on this show.
Yeah, so we like Kelly. Yeah,
we love Kelly Rowland. I will always root for the real brown skinned girl.
Hello.
I will go. Like, my thing is in the after show. I have some very upsetting. I have a can of Raid to spray down the Beehive because I was a little offended with the brown skin girl visual of the song. But we're gonna talk about that in the after show.
Let me give my short little review of this of Black is King. I watched it.
Okay. All right.
Were you going? You go. I'm sorry, Dwayne. Go ahead.
Oh
yeah, Dwayne, because you didn't talk about Black is King. You just went to Kelly Rowland. So how do you feel about Black is King?
Like, so here's the thing. Okay, I swear that the Beehive is gonna swarm in and get me, but I'm not a fan of Beyonce's new type of music right now. Only because it's too
trap.
It's too trap. It's too rap. And I always
I don't understand what the hell you saying.
It's
right.
Her ghostwriter's a millennial, and she goes through Twitter and she's like, "Yep, identity. Yep, B stands for bag. Yep. Okay, all of a sudden, okay, here's your verse." She's trying to relate to the new generation because that's what she does. Like, she's been here since the '90s, and she does that because she moves with the generation. And the new generation is just a bunch of random slang that
don't
really know the meaning of, but she couldn't do a song. And you got the TikTok dance, and there you go.
She's very millennial right now, and it's a type of music that I'm not into right now. I'll always be a fan of the pop songs she does, the true love songs like "Dangerously in Love" and stuff like that. But all this new stuff she has, it's for the birds. However,
I just want to get on again because Lemonade was great.
I was on the fence with it.
Well, I say I stopped right like at "Don't Hurt Yourself." When she said forgiveness, I turned it off. I don't do that. Like when it's 6-inch heels, like whatever songs right before all that forgiveness, that random country song, like no.
Right.
But Ingredient, I'm a fan of.
Yeah, needless to say, the visuals for this album was absolutely beautiful. It was very. It gave me like a National Geographic kind of feel, like you know how like going into the. I don't know what I'm talking about. It was great.
No, I hear what you're saying because I felt the same way. Like, I think my favorite song is the actual song from the Lion King movie, which is Bigger. I love Bigger. Like, there's something about the orchestration and the words that you have to be dead inside if you don't feel something.
Yes, exactly.
It's just a masterfully produced song, and so the visuals that went with it, I was like kind of excited when I first started Black is King. I was like, oh, this is gonna be good,
right?
Because the visuals really did what I thought they were going to do.
Yeah, because it makes you feel it makes you so appreciative of like your heritage. It's just like this is what our people, this is what we do. This
spirituality. It was all wrapped up in one. It was all good. And then she tumbled down the hill. So Darius, what was your thought process?
So I literally had to say, I had to go into it saying, I am going to think about all of the things about this that I like. Because what I find too often, especially with Black women, I was holding them to a standard that wasn't fair. And I mean, that's how it is for Black women across the board a lot of times, right? So I loved the visual. Beautiful, stunning. I love the music. I thought it was great. I love a lot of the African beats and all the things that the African elements of the music, because what y'all don't know is when Lion King first came out, there were 2 separate soundtracks for that album.
Yes.
There was Rhythm of the Pride Lands, which I killed. That was all of the African music for it. And then there was the Lion King soundtrack that had all of
Right.
So what she did was she kind of did that Rhythm of the Pride Lands when she did the whole thing for Lion King. And so I really appreciated all the African elements that she had in her music. I did not understand it when I watched it and listened to it together. But I totally understood it when I watched it without listening to the music, and when I listened to the music without watching it. But together it didn't make sense to me. But separately, they're beautiful pieces of work, and I'm extremely happy that she did what she did.
Yeah, I'm gonna say shout out. I think I was more excited about. I'm a huge all my Dray in the City followers and fans know that I am a huge advocate of Afropunk. I go every year, and I've been Afropunk in London and in Paris and in the US. So like my thing is I'm huge. And so I have been wanting to go to South Africa for Afropunk. And because all of the artists that she had, the African artists, they had all appeared. I've seen them all appear in Afropunk. So I was like hyped that these African artists, because one thing about being Black in the United States, I mean, we bow down to motherland, but we don't really embrace the motherland when it comes to entertainment and things like that. If you hear African music, you are at an Alvin Ailey show. Like you're at the Alvin Ailey factor. It's not like we don't really embrace Kidujo and like all these African artists that have these amazing African songs because they don't feel like they need to cross over to American pop. Or even American R&B that is like almost dead. So it's that factor where it was like it felt really great to see them and to see them flourish on an American project.
Right.
I guess my largest criticism of the whole thing was that I kind of felt like the whole project was what we used to think, like it was a thought process of how we used to think what Africa was when I was younger, and probably when you guys were younger too.
Yeah.
Darius probably is the only one out of us that grew up with Africa actually being having metropolitan cities and all that. We grew up with
even most of my like elementary school, like it wasn't until like middle high school.
Yeah, but for us, our whole even up until college, it was you was half naked with a grass skirt on and wearing paint and things like that. There was no metropolitan city. There was no advancement at all. And so there were certain pieces of it that I felt like where it was like a lot of things were shot in the slum, that they weren't shot where like prominent Africans live, and where like there's a lot of money and black gold money in Africa with Africans that are black, where it's not just white areas. And I was like, none of that was kind of shown, which I kind of get in the sense of
target audience here, because that was
that was the whole thing. Beyonce's target audience. Well, and this is where, for me, the Nina Simone factor comes in, where it is your responsibility as the artist to show the times. And so it doesn't matter where you are in the world, show the current times. And those aren't the current times in Africa completely. I did understand her story in the sense of she was able to, like Darius said, she took Pride Lands and Lion King, merged them together, and put a sprinkle of Coming to America on top of it.
Yes.
And so my only dilemma, my largest criticism of the entire thing is it was called Black is King. And it felt like all the depictions of men were negative. And so if black is supposed to be king, and king is the male factor, I don't understand how I didn't leave uplifted as a black man. I felt uplifted as a black person, but not as a black man.
Well, see, and I think that, and as you say that, because I remember we talked about it earlier, and I heard you say that, and I was like, okay, but let me look at this again. But when I looked at it, every time you saw black people, it was in a place of elevation, and anytime you saw white people, it was in a place of servitude. Mm-hmm. So, like the whole thing being black is king, it doesn't say. I can see that from a place of like she's not saying necessarily black men, but like our whole existence is completely opposite of what they're telling us it is now.
Oh. When I say I totally agree with that, but in the sense of if you are black, this is something we know. That's not new news. And Disney isn't
black.
You saying what?
Thank you.
Target audience wasn't black.
But that's what I'm saying. And with the target audience being black, but you look at all the male characters through it. The male characters were scarred. They were evil. It was all about destruction. There was no positive uplifting
of the black
man.
Right.
That's where I had the issue. He was very woman empowered, which I expected to be because of Beyonce. Yeah. But when you title something Black is King, it is I was expecting a lot more grandeur, a lot more defeat of the expectation.
Right.
Of failure. And it was like, that's what did not exist for me watching it. Like, there were more empowering moments to justify the role of the black woman than there was down to the point where Mufasa the whole time was an overvoice. He wasn't
See, I'm gonna be honest with you. There were moments when I followed the correlation between Lion King and this film, and there were moments where it was completely lost on me. That's why I wasn't trying. Say what?
I said I was confused. I'm like, this is not the retelling of Lion King. Like
Right.
I understand what
it was a lot.
No,
okay,
for
so
me,
about Lion King.
you guys, so we're gonna finish this conversation in the after show. So we're gonna move forward. Brandy, B7 was also released, and on top of B7 being released, they co-released Moesha on Netflix all of the seasons in competition to Black is King, which I thought was interesting.
Well, is it in competition really, or are we pitting it against each other?
Well, it was in competition because media things that do come out at the same time are competing for ratings and sales at the end of the day. So if Brandy would have came out a week later, it would have just been on her shine. But Twitter, Black Twitter, it has been this back and forth about Beyonce and Black is King that has not gotten the hype that I thought it would have gotten. Like in the spread of like internet, Instagram, the whole nine. And then Brandy as well in the two. So tune in, make sure you guys tune in with us in the after show. We're gonna break down B7 with Brandy and her release video Borderline. So right now we're gonna go into the state of America. Right now, Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi are at ends. The Democratic Party and the GOP are in a fight right now so that we can get the stimulus together, as well as the biggest fight right now is unemployment wage, on how they're going to break down the unemployment wage. Breaking news right now from New York Post just released that Mitch McConnell has actually committed to say that the Republican Party will go along with the $600 as long as Trump is for it. So what we do know is that Trump is for the $600. Trump has been waiting on the Republican Party to forcibly pass the $200 so that he could veto, because the Republican Party is not behind Donald Trump right now. And this way he could embarrass them by vetoing their bill, because it's the Republican Party that is saying, and Donald Trump, in his relentless need to be popular, is pretty much changing parties in his presidential. It kind of goes back to in his beginning when he said, hey, if I ever ran for president, I would run as a Republican because they're stupid. They don't follow anything.
Literally is what he said.
And that's exactly what he said. And so my thing is, when he truly is a Democrat at heart. So this is what's happening. So right now, we are in the droves. They are hoping to have an answer by the 7th because all the Congress people and Senate want to be able to go back home to their home states for the recess, which they're not going to be able to. And it's necessary for them to because they need to go campaign. It's an election year. Exactly. So this is why, fingers crossed, that we all wind up with the $600 again. It is actually more affordable than the Republican $200 till October and the 70% of your old wages, because the 70% of the old wages helps someone like me, but does not help someone like Dwayne. This is where the problem comes. When I work, because I work corporately, so that means 70% of my wages is way more than the $600 a week extra. Where for Dwayne, it would be 70% of that could be $30.
Pennies.
Pennies. Literally. So this is why it is unfair. But they don't. But when as they say, when you don't have AOC in your corner saying no, because you've never been a waitress, you don't understand that these are real wages, and then you're gonna give them back those wages. No, you can't give them back wages with no tips. So that didn't work.
No, mama.
And so in the state of America right now, Kelly Loeffler is Kelly Loeffler. She is a co-owner of the Atlanta Dreams WNBA team. She is trying to purchase the John Lewis seat in Atlanta, Georgia, right now by spending $20 million of her own personal money in campaigning, going against Raphael Warnick, the Reverend Raphael Warnick, that is currently the pastor of the famous Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia. So right now, she is going up against the good Reverend, saying that Black Lives Matter is trying to take Jesus out of the churches.
We're trying to take white people out of the church.
So, I think this is crazy.
Wasn't white. I know that's where you grew up learning, Shelby, but with dreadlocks is gonna be white.
Say that again, Kazera.
How's a Middle Eastern man with dreadlocks gonna be white? Like, how did that picture make sense in your head?
Thank you. We love Black Jesus.
We love Black Jesus.
We love Black Jesus. So I don't know what Kelly Loeffler is doing except trying to buy a seat. But so the important factor is that all of our viewers that are in Atlanta, Georgia, first, go to vote.org and make sure that you're registered to vote. Secondly, let's get behind the good Reverend because we need a Democratic face in Georgia in the Senate. It is a necessity because if we do not have a Democratic face, then we are totally going to lose the right to vote, and we are going to return back to the time of Selma because Atlanta, even the current governor of Atlanta, is currently suing Miss Keisha Bottoms for forcing them to wear a mask and she's suing her because she's a Democrat. It has to do with them really trying to keep the state of Georgia a red state. And so, in this factor, Democrats, let's go Democrats, let's go Democrats.
Jared Kushner, this whole COVID initiative where, oh, well, it's only hitting blue states, don't worry about it. And then that backfired because who doesn't listen to science? Trump supporters. It's affecting your people more, and now they suddenly care about it. But he had this whole initiative like, yeah, just let it run rampant. It's only going to affect Democrats anyway, and we'll win. And then he saw those numbers not working out in his favor, and suddenly that whole initiative vanished, and it never happened. Yeah. But it was a real plan that he had.
True. Well, I mean, so what we have to be able to do right now is
academic when it's not political.
Right. So in Atlanta, Georgia, and all over the United States, just in recognition of John Lewis's life's work, he has been registering people to vote since he was 17 years old. He died at the age of 80, fighting to make sure that we all had an equal right to vote within this country, no matter your color, your creed, or your status. So let's get out the vote. If you have not registered to vote, go to www.vote.org, register to vote, find out where your voting is. And I can't stress enough, vote, make sure that even though you're voting, the presidential election is a great time to vote, but make sure that you're voting in your local election. Voting in your local elections actually helps make larger changes that we actually need in the factor of defunding the police, getting the right police commissioners and sheriffs within your actual communities, because you are making the choices to make that happen. Your governor, your mayor, your city council members, these are necessary votes for you within your community, because your community actually helps to create the change for the larger community, which is the world that we all live in. So get out and vote. Vote.org. So this has been a fantastic show. Join us for the after hours. Want to make sure that you guys tune in on Mondays for Working It Out with Darius Mooring on Mondays at 8 p.m., 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you miss any of the episodes, even if you miss the episodes of City Love Speaks, you can join us at City Love Speaks page on Facebook, or you can go to our channel on YouTube, City Love Speaks. We have had such an amazing time having we love that you guys join in with us every week and are about this. This is my dream come true. I can honestly say I thank you and love you all guys for joining me on this crazy adventure of City Love Speaks. We will see you guys again next week. Join us in 10 minutes for the after show. And remember, if you don't love yourself, ain't nobody gonna love you. So have a great time.
Nobody.
Enjoy the rest of your week. See you guys on Monday. Bye.
Bye.